slaughtered.
With fire. It's supposed to be roasted with fire. Meaning you ain't supposed to boil the lamb. Okay, a lot of times people want to boil the lamb and make it a little soft, a little soft, but they want to boil that. No, the Most High said roast the lamb. Okay, this is a commandment. You're supposed to roast the lamb, okay, with fire. Okay, you're not supposed to put no barbecue sauce on it. You're not supposed to go to Food Lion and get Uncle Ben's barbecue sauce and put on it. No, just plain lamb and roast it with fire, Brother Kanai. I'm gonna pick on you all night. Okay, also Ryan, it's good to see you. Okay.
His head with his legs and with the pertinence thereof, and ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning.
There you go, right there. Okay, if you brothers want to eat it, you want to take it home. Hey, listen, you can take it home, okay, but after that, okay, you're gonna have to throw it out. Go in your backyard, bury it, burn it. Okay, that'd be the best thing to do, right, priest? Burn it, okay, but it can't remain until the morning time. Okay, that's breaking a law. All right, you cannot do that. All right, eat it tonight. Take it home, Yashawan. You know how you like eating food. All right, but you have to bury it or burn it or something, Yashawan, tonight. Okay, you can't take no lamb home. That good old lamb, roasted lamb home tonight and save it for tomorrow when you go to work. Go ahead, also Ryan.
Come, and that which remaineth of it until the morning ye shall burn with fire.
Okay. You're supposed to be burning in fire. All right, go ahead, King.
Come, and thus shall ye eat it with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and ye shall eat it in haste.
Most High even tells us how to dress. Okay, we're supposed to eat it in haste. We're supposed to have our loins girded. Okay, we're supposed to have our staff in our hand as well too. That means that you can't come to the Passover before the Most High looking any old way. You understand what I'm trying to say? You can't come here, with certain clothes on. The Most High wants you to even look a certain way when you come before Him in commemorance. Go ahead, King.
Come, and ye shall let us like it, and with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in hand, and ye shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover. So I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt.
Yeah, that's scary right there, man. Okay, you having a death angel pass through, okay, the night of Egypt, man, through that night, man, and smite all the firstborn. That's scary, man. All right, you can imagine that, man. You hearing babies screaming and crying, man, and you can hear it. Okay, and angels and people hollering, man. That's a horrific thing, man. But the Most High did it for us. All right, Moses went to Pharaoh. Most High went to Pharaoh. Okay, for years and for years. Let him go. Okay, Most High plagued him with frogs. Pharaoh still hardened his heart. All right, Moses went to him again, Kenai. Let him go. All right, Most High turned the water to blood. Esau the same way over here in America. Okay, don't you realize it's snowing in California? Look, it's 80 degrees here. It's a snowstorm in California. It's a snowstorm. How many feet also around of snow is over in California? Right, I looked on the news. I looked on the news the other night. Edomite had a ladder measuring the snow. He didn't have a ruler. He had a ladder. He said the snow is beyond this ladder. It's like mountains of snow. It's snowing. It's a snowstorm in California right now as we speak. They said that has never, ever happened in the history of California. Okay, so the same things let's get the Most High hand for that. Because the same thing, we read the book of Revelation 8:11, the Most High said this place is spiritual Egypt, man. So the same plagues, Most High said, I'm not going to meet thee as a man. So the Most High ain't going to come down here and shake Esau's hand and say, how you doing? I'm going to plague you with 12 tornadoes. The Most High said he will not meet thee as a man. Esau knows this, man. He knows there's something supernatural about the things that are going on, but he don't want to give the Most High his credit. He knows this place is Egypt, man. All the symbolic stuff that you see in Washington on the dollar bill and the movies that they show. This place is Egypt, man. And the Most High saved Esau for last just to show everybody who's that wicked person, man. All right? Esau is the last. It's like the Apocrypha say. Esau is what? The end of the world, man. You mean to tell me somebody it's another rulership coming after this that's worse? You can't get no worse than Esau, man. You can't. He's a modern day Pharaoh. He's a modern day Sadducees. He's everybody mixed in a fruit punch. Okay, that's the reason why everything and anything goes in America, man. He saved this dude for last. He's a special person. Go ahead,
Come, and ye shall eat it in haste.
We shall eat it in haste. Okay, none of y'all choke on it. Okay. A lot of y'all go eat it, but okay, don't none of y'all choke on it, okay? So the Most High said we're gonna eat this lamb in haste. Go ahead, King.
It is YAHAWAH'S Passover.
It's the Most High's Passover, not ours, not priest, not Officer Rhyme, okay, not Brother Kanai. Okay, the Most High said this is his Passover. Okay, go ahead, King.
For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt.
That's horrible right there, man. That's a horrible thing. Pharaoh hard-headed, man. Moses kept coming back. Let him go, so they can honor my father. Let him go. All right, Pharaoh, I ain't doing nothing. All right, these Israelites make a rich. That's the same way that's the same way the Europeans think today. All right, if we was to leave this place today, America would go belly up. All right, the white man don't like you that much, okay, that he want to keep you here, but he like the way that you're keeping this economics going. He loves that. America will look just like Russia if we left. Dry. Everybody's drinking vodka, and coffee. All right, that's how America would look. Dry. All right, go ahead. I'll read up to 15 and that's it.
Come, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt, I will execute the judgment. I am the Most High.
He even killed the cattle, man. Okay, that's horrible right there. Go ahead, Doc.
And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where you are.
And if that blood, listen, let me tell you something. That blood wasn't upon that door, shame on you. All right, because you was gonna get it. If that blood wasn't on that door, you was gonna get it, man. All right, shame on you. Go ahead, I'll read 15, and that's gonna be my time. Go ahead.
And when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall be and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I smite the land of Egypt.
And you know you had Israelites that didn't put the blood on the door. You had Israelites that was still working in Egypt. You had Israelites that was still working in Egypt when we was going across the Red Sea, man. You had Israelites still working, okay? It's like you're going to have a lot of Negroes, like when we go out and speak, we're trying to warn people about the signs of the times, okay? And you got people not paying attention to us. We're trying to tell them this place is going to soon come to an end, all right? Then the Most High said you're going to have people that's going to look, before them bombs hit, you're going to still have people still harden their hearts, man, just like Pharaoh, man. Go ahead, Doc.
Come. And the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I smite the land of Egypt. This is, again, Exodus 12 and 14. And this day shall be upon you, so like it shall be unto you for a memorial, and ye shall keep it a feast to the Most High throughout your generations.
That means forever. The Most High didn't give a time limit, or he didn't give an expiration date, all right? Or he didn't give he said, you shall keep it forever throughout your generations. All right, that means forever. What does the word forever and generations mean? Last time I looked, that means forever. It has no expiration date. Okay, that means forever. Okay, so it's no such thing as that the laws are done away with. We don't supposed to keep. Okay, why don't you just not read the book? Okay, just put the book down. Don't read this book. Okay, just come out of your own mouth. Okay, because that's not what this says. The Most High said throughout your generations. All right, so don't mix the Most High and your own feelings, your emotions, your opinion. Okay, with this book right here, because that's gonna get you in trouble right there. Go ahead, King.
Ye shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever.
There you go right there. Okay, the Most High said forever. All right, how do you explain that to somebody that's going to say the laws are done away with? How do you get around that guy out? Okay, it says forever. Okay, last time I checked, forever means forever. Okay, eternal. All right, read 15, and that's going to be it. And I'm going to let priest Yachanan come in.
Come, Exodus 12 and 15. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread.
So the Most High says 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread. Okay, unleavened bread, no yeast. Okay, nothing, no elements in your bread to make it rise. Yeast is being number one. Okay, because you have a lot of things out here, okay, that has, okay, elements, okay, of yeast in it that makes bread rise. Okay, you have some dairy foods, okay, that has a lot of articles of yeast in it. Okay, cheese, sometimes it depends on the kind of cheese you get. Milk, okay, has yeast in it. So you got to be very careful. Don't slip up. Okay, go and you know, actually, you're supposed to be out of your house. You're supposed to put all the yeast out of your house. So over in Israel, they cover the yeast up in all the stores. Okay, with what you call that again? With tarps. When you go in the stores in Israel, they got all the yeast covered up. Okay, in the supermarkets. Okay, with tarps. You know, so nobody won't be tempted. All right. So the Most High said, for 7 days you shall what? Also, Rhyme?
Ye shall eat unleavened bread.
Eat unleavened bread. Okay. Gives your system a chance to get cleaned out as well, too. Nothing with yeast, symbolizing that we did everything in haste, okay, because we didn't have that much time to cook the bread. So we did everything with the unleavened in the bread. So he said 7 days, okay, no yeast, unleavened, good.
Even the first day, ye shall put away leaven out of your houses.
There you go. There you go. Put the leaven away out of your house so you won't be tempted. Good, Ark.
For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel.
Well, so you got to be careful. You have to be very careful, okay, during this time, okay, so the Most High can deal with you, okay, and everybody come together, and sever your differences, with one another, repent to the Most High, start a brand new year with a brand new spirit. I know that's what I'm gonna do, so this is the time that the Most High really wants you to sever your differences, come back to Him if you did anything, personally. Okay, go to the Most High, face the east and pray. If you got an oath against your brother, if I offended anybody in here, I apologize. Okay, that goes around the circumspect of the board. Any of you sisters, okay, that I did something to, okay, you back there. If I did something to y'all back there, y'all 5 back there, hey, I apologize. I'm sorry, and any of you brothers too. So with that's it. That's my time. I know I said I wasn't going to be too long, let Priest come in and get it in. But that's it. Okay, if you have any questions, you can address it afterwards, or you can address it, okay, with Priest Jacques and out there. That's my time. All praise to the Most High. All praise.
Oh Lord, yeah, powerful word. This is a wonderful time to have this opportunity. So let's get right into it. I just want to read something from the Metzger Coogan, the Oxford Guide to the Bible, concerning the crucifixion. One thing Elder Zaquan mentioned was a memorial. This is, how many of us been to memorial services? And we know memorial services, a lot of those was associated with our loved ones. All right, a memorial. This is a very solemn assembly, and this is a memorial. This is the memorial of Hamashiach Yahawashi. And in this dispensation of time, we need to acknowledge that before we partake of this lamb, we need to understand exactly what we're partaking of. And we need to see it in its utmost gravity of what it is. Because too many times we've taken it unworthily. And we need to thank the Most High for His mercy and kindness that the death angel ain't come to none of our houses, man, during these times. Come on, let's put our hands together for the Most High. Because if we would, to be honest with you, many of us were deserving of just that. Con? All right, so let me read this and let's talk about the crucifixion. One thing we got to remember, for the disciples and for those that loved Hamashiach during this time, this was a sad occasion. This was a very solemn assembly, man. They was eating the Passover, and Hamashiach was letting them know that I'm going to be betrayed after this. After we keep the Passover together. This is going to be the last time y'all see me, and until my return. So we need to embrace that. So I want to read this about the crucifixion. All right. And so crucifixion, the act of nailing or binding a person to a cross or tree, whether for executing or for exposing the corpse. It was considered the cruelest and most shameful method of capital punishment. The act of nailing or binding a person to a cross or tree, whether for executing or for exposing the corpse. It was considered the cruelest and most shameful method of capital punishment. According to ancient historians such as Herodotus and Diodorus Siculus, these Greeks and Romans, various kinds of crucifixion, impalement, were used by the Assyrians, the Scythians, the Phoenicians, and Persians. The practice of crucifixion was taken over by Alexander the Greek and his successors, and especially by the Romans, who reserved it for slaves in cases of robbery and rebellion. So crucifixion was used for rebellion, for that rebellious Negro. so-called, that uppity so-called Negro. Roman citizens could be punished in this way only for the crime of high treason, as if you're a Roman citizen. In the Roman provinces, crucifixion served as a means of punishing unruly people who were sentenced as robbers. Josephus, the historian, tells of mass crucifixion in Judea under several Roman prefects. So our people went through this in masses, all right? In particular, Titus during the siege of Jerusalem. The same also occurred in the Hebrew quarter of Alexandria, according to the Philo, who was also a historian, Israelite historian. Before the execution, the victim was scourged. He then had to carry the transverse beam, which we know as the cross, to the place of execution and was nailed through the hands and feet to the cross. In some instances, they would break the legs, the knees, they would break them so the body could fit on the cross. It was nailed through the hands and feet to the cross, from which a wooden peg protruded to support the body. Some of these literary details are confirmed by archaeological finds of the bones of crucifixion victims. So I want us to really meditate on what was sacrificed and what's our responsibility now for this Passover. Give me the book of Luke 23 and start at verse 1. And we're just going to start reading. We're going to let the scripture speak. And I want us to dive in tonight spiritually into what our Messiah, Mashiach Yahawah, had to endure and what our responsibility is tonight, so that we don't just take this as like a elder was talking about, like a lamb sandwich. You see what I'm saying? We need to appropriate the significance of this memorial. We're not sacrificing the lamb. That already happened. Yahawah already gave himself for us, but we need to be memorializing. This is a memorial ceremony. This is getting ready for a burial. But I want to put this question in your spirit tonight. What about yourself needs to die? What side of the crucifixion are you on? What side of the crucifixion? Before we take this, find out, am I the one? Am I about to take this unworthily? What side of the crucifixion am I on? Read what you got.
Come, this is the book of Luke, chapter 23, verse 1. And the whole multitude of them arose and led him unto Pilate. And they began to accuse him, saying, we found this fellow perverting the nation and forbidding to give tribute to Caesar, saying that he himself is Hamashiach, a king.
Now, no, these are Israelites. These are our people. Same attitude today. We're going to see if we sometimes fall victim of being these people. Read.
Verse 3, and Pilate asked him, saying, art thou the king of the Jews? And he answered him and said, thou sayest it. Then said Pilate to the chief priests and to the people, I find no fault in this man.
Isn't that something? Pilate found no fault in this man. But we ourselves, you know, the spirit of Satan operates during this time, accuses of the brethren. We see a lot of that in Israel, man. A lot of us have done this past year, banging on your brother, right? Accusers of the brethren. I wonder if that needs to be nailed to the cross. Read on.
And they were the more fierce, saying, he stirreth up the people, teaching throughout all Jewry, beginning from Galilee to this place.
Saying he's causing an uprising, like them so-called Negroes on the corner, telling people about who they are and the atrocities that they've endured. Read.
When Pilate heard of Galilee, he asked whether the man were a Galilean. And as soon as he knew that he belonged unto Herod's jurisdiction, he sent him to Herod, who himself also was at Jerusalem at that time.
Read on.
And when Herod soon saw Yahawah, he was exceeding glad, for he was desirous to see him of a long season, because he had heard many things of him.
Like, you know, you always have those people, and those will be the other nations, want to see our greatness. They fill up arenas to see our greatness. They look to see our abilities. Who is this man? They were like that around Martin Luther King. They were like that around Malcolm X. They wanted to talk. We see all the interviews. They had desired to see them, but there was no endearing love for those men. They saw them as rebellious. They wanted to be able to control them. Read on.
And he hoped to have seen some miracle done by him.
Again, it was see. Let me see you do a dance, boy.
That's exactly.
Turn that monkey into a dove. Something like that's what they always expect from us. Come on, a song. It requires song. Read.
Then he questioned with him in many words, but he answered him nothing.
He didn't say nothing to him. Read on.
And the chief priests and scribes stood and vehemently accused him.
They accused him. Read on.
And Herod with his men of war set him at naught and mocked him.
They mocked him, man, because they were offended. They were offended at not getting the response. How many of us are offended not getting the response we want from Hamashiach? Read on.
And arrayed him in a gorgeous robe.
But they put him in a gorgeous robe to mock him. Read on.
And sent him again to Pilate. And the same day, Pilate and Herod were made friends together, for before they were at enmity between themselves.
Come on.
And Pilate, when he had called together the chief priests and the rulers and the people, said unto them, Ye have brought this man unto me as one that perverteth the people. And behold, I, having examined him before you, have no fault in this man.
Have found no fault in this man. Read on.
Touching those things whereof ye accuse him.
Now remember what I read about crucifixion. That was used for capital punishment for somebody guilty. Read on. And YAHAWAH'S knew he had to be punished as a guilty man. And it was blameless. Read on.
Nor yet Herod, for I sent you to him, and lo, nothing worthy of death is done unto him.
Nothing worthy is death. This man has not done anything worthy of this capital punishment, the most humiliating, cruel punishment there was. Read on.
I will therefore chastise him and release him.
He was just going to chastise him. Might have got a couple of lashings. That's bad when the nations, our enemy, said they ain't find nothing wrong with him. And it was our own people that was like crucified. We some of the hardest critics. We are some of the hardest critics. What they say, if you can't make it to Apollo, you ain't gonna make it, right? We the hardest and toughest critics. We the hardest critics to our own people. Read on.
Come. It says, for verse 17, for of necessity he must release one unto them at the feast.
I got to release one of these at the feast. This is customary. This is what they were doing in that jurisdiction at that time. Read on.
Come. And they cried out all at once, saying, away with this man, and release unto us Barabbas.
They wanted, they're going to show you who Barabbas was. Read.
Who for a certain sedition made in the city and for murder was cast into prison.
Our people wanted a murderer instead. How many of us, and I'm not asking this question, it's rhetorical, but we follow men, man. Our people always following men. Always following men, man. And we want a leader that's a lot of times like ourselves. They want to release this murderer, this man who was found guilty. And we are so quick to credit men that got flaws and that are fallible. But Hamashiach was sinless, without blemish. And we ridicule him and we crucify him. We don't want that. Every time we reject what's right, that's what we do. Every time we reject what's perfect and it's been presented to us as Israelites, that's exactly what we do. I know you don't see it that way, but that's exactly what you do. Every time we deny what's right That's exactly what we do. Every time we break a law that we know we shouldn't break, that's exactly what we do. Crucify him. We want Barabbas. Every time you angry with your brother or your sister without a cause, you done murdered your brother. You can murder your brother with your mouth. Remember, we the worst critics. Read on.
Pilate, therefore, willing to release Yahushua, spake again to them.
And it's something where the nations have to tell us a lot of times, say, look at them, big bro. Always fighting each other, always killing each other. Speak bad about us, about our communities, because we them people, bro. We got to nail some things to the cross. Bro. Read on.
But they cried, saying, Crucify him, crucify him.
Read on.
And he said unto them the third time, Why? What evil hath he done?
What evil has this man done? Read on.
I have found no cause of death in him. I will therefore chastise him and let him go.
Verse 23.
And they were instant with loud voices, requiring that he might be crucified. And the voices of them and of the chief priests prevailed.
Read on.
And Pilate gave sentence that it should be as they required.
So the peoples and what they wanted. Read on.
And he released unto them him that for sedition and murder was cast into prison.
So Hamashiach was about to face the penalty for murder, for capital punishment, for a thief, a robber, as many of us weren't for. Read on.
Whom they had desired, but he delivered Yahushua to their will. And as they led him away, they laid hold upon one Simon, a Cyrenian, coming out of the country. And on him they laid the cross, that he might bear it after Yahushua.
Come on.
And there followed him a great company of people and of women, which were bewailed and lamented him.
One thing I want us to understand, carrying is one thing, and the scriptures talk about carrying our cross, but also there's a cross when we accept Hamashiach, Yahushua. There's a burden for us to carry his. I want us to understand that. When you accepted Hamashiach, Yahushua, you took on carrying his yoke, which is easy, his burden, which is lighter than the one, because the penalty that you would have incurred prior to Hamashiach would have been that as a criminal, as a thief, as a murderer. And you would have been deserving of that crucifixion. And that's why we thank him for what he's done, so that death angel has passed us. Con? Read on.
Verse 28, but Yahushua turning unto them said, Daughters of Jerusalem, weep not for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children.
Read on.
For behold, the days are coming in the which they shall say, Blessed are the barren.
Think about when they were taking us from and ripping children from our family, their family, doing slavery. Yahushua foresaw all that. You would have been so glad that you didn't have a child during that time. He knew what was to come, what was going to happen to us as a people, how we were going to be dragged away from each other to never see your children again, how they were going to bring us on slave ships, how they were going to beat us to smithereens, obliviate, buck break, everything that you could possibly think inhumane, castration would be done to this people, to us, the Israelites, the people of the book. Read on.
It says, For behold, the days are coming in the which they shall say, Blessed are the barren, and the wombs that never bare, and the paps which never gave suck.
Read on.
Then shall they begin to say to the mountains, Fall on us, and to the hills, cover us.
Read on.
For if they do these things in a green tree, what shall be done in the dry?
So I want y'all to think about this right here. This is the emphasis. What side of the crucifixion you on? Read verse 32.
Verse 32. And there were also two other malefactors led with him to be put to death.
Come on.
And when they were come to the place which is called Calvary, they were crucified him. There they crucified him and the malefactors, one on the right hand and the other on the left.
Now I want you to think about one on the right hand and the other on the left. Read on.
Then said Yahushua, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And they parted his raiment and cast lots. And the people stood beholding, and the rulers also with them derided him, saying, He saved others, let him save himself.
Now they mocking him again. He saved others, save yourself now. But he knew he had to die. It was appointed for him to do this. How many of us know that some things we need to die to? You accepted a Mashiach and you still won't do it. You know, you've been called to that, just like he was appointed once to die, that we're appointed to die to our flesh. If you accept a Mashiach Yahweh, if he be in you, read on.
It says, oh yeah, 35. And the people stood beholding, and the rulers also with him derided him, saying, He saved others, let him save himself, if he be Hamashiach, the chosen of the Most High.
Read on.
And the soldiers also mocked him, coming to him and offering him vinegar.
Now, this vinegar that was offered to him, this was actually a mixture that was supposed to soothe the pain. And Hamashiach, he refused because he was going to endure it. He would remember he was taking on our punishment. If he did it, then if he took that, then he was trying to make it easier. How many of us run away from the chastening of God? This is what he was trying to teach us on the cross. Read on.
And saying, If thou be king of the Jews, save thyself.
Come on.
And a superscription also was written over him in the letters of Greek and Latin and Hebrew. This is the king of the Jews.
Read on.
And one of the malefactors which were hanged railed on him, saying, If thou be Hamashiach, save thyself.
Read on.
And us. But the other answering rebuked him, saying, Dost not thou fear God, seeing thou art in the same condemnation?
You see, and I want us to understand that without Hamashiach, we're in the same condemnation, and we're guilty. What side of the crucifixion are you? Are you this one that's saying, save yourself, Hamashiach? Are you the one that's acknowledging your faults, acknowledging your transgression, and accepting the penalty of your faults? Because that's exactly, read on.
Come. And we indeed justly, for we received the due reward of our deeds.
He said, we deserve this. We deserve this. And only when you confess your faults and acknowledge your transgressions and nail that part of you to the crucifixion, to the cross, and accept that, will you take this worthily. If you don't realize that tonight, there's no need to take it. There's no need to take it. Because you're going to put him to an open shame again. Read.
But this man hath done nothing amiss.
Come on.
And he said unto Yahushua, Adawan, remember me, when thou comest into thy kingdom. And Yahushua said unto him, Verily I say unto thee, today shalt thou be with me in paradise.
So you see that? Today. And for us, let's discern his body so that today, that we accept what he's done, the sacrifice, the memorial, the crucifixion that he endured, that we too will be on the right-hand side. What did the scriptures say in Matthew 25 about who's on the left and who on the right?
Goats and sheep.
It's the goats and the sheep. What's on the right? The goat, matter of fact, let's get it. Matthew 25, I think it's around 31 and 31 through 46. Real quick, let's get it.
This is Matthew 25, 31. When the Son of Man shall come in his glory.
Because this is what we're waiting. We're acknowledging his memorial, but we're waiting on his return. All right. This is what we're excited about. So to appropriate this, yes, we have to think about the disciples and what they went through as we are disciples. But we should think about his death, but also his return. And this is the celebratory aspect of it. But it's very sombering so that you make sure that you can experience the right hand on his return. All right, we want to be on that right side. Because why you want to suffer and then not make it? You're gonna suffer for your transgressions. It's not this life suffering, death, pain, sickness, but none of this is to be compared to when the Mashiach return and what's going to be revealed. Read on.
And all the holy angels with him. Then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory.
Come on.
And before him shall be gathered all nations.
Come on.
And he shall separate them one from another.
Right.
As a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats.
Come on.
And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left.
Read on.
Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come, ye blessed of my father.
Blessed of my father. Read on.
Inherit the kingdom.
Inherit the kingdom. Isn't that why we're here? Don't you want to get the kingdom? That's what we want. That's what it's all about. Read on.
Inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world.
Come on.
For I was an hungered, and ye gave me meat. I was thirsty, and ye gave me drink. I was a stranger, and ye took me in. Naked, and ye clothed me. I was sick, and ye visited me.
Come on.
I was in prison, and ye came unto me.
Come on.
37. Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Adawan, when saw we thee in hunger, and fed thee, or thirsty, and gave thee drink? When saw ye thee a stranger, and took thee in, or naked, and clothed thee? Or when saw we thee sick, or in prison, came unto thee? And the king shall answer, and say unto them, Verily, I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have heard, Salaki, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least.
See, and that's what we got to appropriate tonight. We got to stop with the crucify him the way we treat one another. We got to stop with being our own worst critics. And they always said our own worst enemies. We have to stop it as Israel, as a nation. We have to stop with that. Read on.
Come. It says, Then shall he say unto them on the left hand, Depart from me, ye cursed, into everlasting fire.
If you want mercy, what you going to have to show? You're going to have to show mercy. And it's got to be through the spirit of Hamashiach Yahushua. It can't be based on our flesh. So I want us to just think tonight, what is it that I need to nail to the cross? Because there were two other, he wasn't crucified by himself. There were three there. What side of the crucifixion are you? Are you on the one who's saying your stuff and worst critic, like we are to our brothers and sisters? Or are you going to be the other one that acknowledge Mashiach's death and appropriately say, man, this man did nothing wrong. I'm worthy of what I'm going. But you know what? I'm going to accept what Hamashiach did, acknowledge him, and now I'm going to see paradise. Because one thing that malefactor did, he confessed his fault. He acknowledged Hamashiach, Yahushua, and what was nailed to the cross was his transgression. That's when he acknowledged that. That's what he allowed himself. Some of us, we got so much junk that it need to be up there. A lot of us living with it. We done came down off the cross. We living with it. Some of us get back up and nail that garbage to that sinful nature, that flesh to the cross, and leave it there. Because the equivalent is like you going to a grave and putting them clothes on and walking around with that corpse. That's the old man. That man should be dead. We don't
come. It says, Then shall he say unto them on the left hand, Depart from me, ye cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was an hungered, and ye gave me no meat. I was thirsty, and ye gave me no drink. I was a stranger, and ye took me not in. Naked, and ye clothed me not. Sick and in prison, and ye visited me not.
A lot of times we do that because we don't discern his crucifixion and what our responsibility. Is that it on that? 46.
Yeah, I can get 44.
Oh yeah, let's go down to 46.
Come. Then shall they also answer him, saying, Adawan, what saw we thee, and hungered, or athirst, or a stranger, or naked, or sick, or in prison, and did not minister unto thee? Then shall he answer them, saying, Verily, I say unto you, inasmuch as ye did it not to one of the least of these, ye did it not to me. And these shall go away into everlasting punishment, but the righteous into life eternal.
That's right. So we have to again appropriate. Give me Luke 22. Go to verse 16.
Luke 22 and 16.
16.
Come.
Verse 15.
Verse 15. Luke 22 and 15. And he said unto them, with desire I have desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer.
Can you imagine? I want us to think. We getting ready to eat the lamb, but we need to discern his body and think about Hamashiach, our Passover lamb. And he's getting ready to suffer after he ate this dinner. This was his last meal. Now, that put another spin on it. This was his disciples, like, man, they probably was crying up in there. Like, they weren't going to see him again. Now, he was getting ready to die, he had to suffer. And he didn't do nothing wrong. Now you can see why Peter was like, that's why he was like, no, he didn't want to, before. He was telling them, no, I don't want you to die. No, it can't be. But he had to. Go to 16.
For I say unto you, I will not in any more eat thereof until it be fulfilled in the kingdom of God.
That's the next time it's going to pass. And hopefully, remember what we just read. We'll be eating with it. That's what we have to look for. Right? That's why we can't stop. That's why he who endures to the end. We got to keep pushing, beloved. All right, we got to do better. Read on.
And he took the cup and gave thanks and said, Take this and divide it among yourselves. For I say unto you, I will not drink of the fruit of the vine until the kingdom of God shall come.
Come on.
And he took bread and gave thanks and brake it and gave unto them, saying, This is my body.
This is my body. He was wanting them to discern what was happening. This is my body. This wasn't the Eucharist where he was eating, giving his actual flesh, as the Catholic Church tries to suggest. Read on.
This is my body, which is given for you.
He gave himself up for you. Come on.
This do in remembrance of me.
So we know the Passover should call it the remembrance of what? The Passover. Do this in remembrance of me. Come on.
Likewise, also the cup after supper, saying, This cup is the New Testament in my blood, which is shed for you.
Now think about what Elder said concerning where the blood was applied. That's always been Israel's responsibility. To take his life, that's what's in the blood. The blood is the life. That's what he's saying. Animals want to eat an animal that is living. You see what I'm saying? So it's the life. It's the life that gives the nutrients. So our responsibility is to take what his life represents and apply it to our door, which is our life. That's how we should live. If you're not doing that, you done took this unworthy. That's the you don't have the blood on your doors. His life, you're not representing his life. That's what he did for us. Shouldn't we rep? People repping everything, repping colors, repping blood, repping names, repping camp, repping YAHAWAH'S, repping his life. Read on.
Come. It says, This cup is the New Testament.
It's the New Testament. Now the covenant is renewed. Now I make a covenant with you. In his death, there's a covenant because there must be a death of a testator for the testament to be activated. Somebody's got to die for your inheritance. And that's why it was the blameless lamb, the Son of the Most High, that causes us to enter into the kingdom. It was only that type of sacrifice that would be accepted. That's the power of what he did. That's the power. That's how it shows you how much the Most High loves us. It's not his will that any of us perish as Israelites. We don't have to. We don't have to. Choose this day. Choose who we gonna serve. What side of the crucifix? You on the left or you on the right? Read.
God, I just want to get Hebrews 9:15.
Go ahead.
And for this cause, he is the mediator of the New Testament, that by means of death, for the redemption of the transgressions that were under the first testament, they which are called might receive the promise of eternal inheritance.
Come on.
For where a testament is, there must also of necessity be the death of the testator.
So the testament is the covenant. Body shed for you. This activated. Once I die, it activates the covenant. Come on.
Verse 17. For a testament is of force after men are dead. Otherwise, it is of no strength at all while the testator liveth.
Right. That's why he had to die. He had to. And many of them didn't discern that till afterwards. And that's why he told Peter, he said, when you converted, strengthen your brothers. And that's what we have to make sure that we convert. Make sure that you go through the process. And it starts with discerning. All right. Give me 22.
Salakia. 20, this is Luke 22, 21.
21. Go ahead.
But behold, the hand of him that betrayeth me is with me on the table.
It's always a Judas in the midst. And if you have a relationship with Ashar, you're going to have your Judas. You got to. It could be your test. It could be some of the things that you're struggling with, but you're going to have something in your life that betrays you. All right? But you're going to have to crucify that flesh. You ain't getting out the crucifixion. Everybody think he died, he paid off. No, you got crucified. You don't see that. If you're a Mashiach, you're supposed to be crucified with them. We were up there with them. We don't.
Come. And truly, the Son of Man goeth as it was determined, but woe unto that man by whom he is betrayed.
Come on, woe to him. Betrayed. So let's stop right there. Remember, he said, give me 1 Corinthians. We're going to go to 11, 23, 25. And remember, he said, do this in remembrance of me. So that's where we are. We're in this dispensation of time of the Passover to do this in remembrance of Yahawashi. That's why we're here. This is a memorial service unto Mashiach Yahawashi. Read on.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 23. For I have received of the Adawan, or the Lord, that which also I delivered unto you, that the Adawan Yahawashi, the same night in which he was betrayed, took bread.
That's what we're going to do. When the lamb is stuck, we're going to take the unleavened bread. Read on.
And when he had given thanks, he brake it and said, take, eat this of my body, which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me.
This is what we should be thinking about. Every time we do this, in remembrance of him, his crucifixion. Read on.
After the same manner also, he took the cup when he had supped, saying, this cup is the New Testament.
When we drink of that new covenant, when we drink that tonight, think of how that new covenant was renewed, man. This is still in the deal right here. Read on.
Come. This cup is the New Testament in my blood. This do ye as oft as ye drink it in remembrance of me. For as often as ye eat this bread and drink this cup, ye do show the Lord's death till he come.
You see, you show that until he comes. And that's what we're supposed to be appropriating tonight. That's what we show. And all the angels are bearing witness and recorders, Yahawashi, all of them are bearing record in heaven right now that we're doing this. That's right. Put your hands together. This is unto him. Super Mashiach Yahawashi. Was that it on that?
27. Wherefore, whosoever shall eat this bread and drink this cup of the Adawan unworthily,
come on,
shall be guilty of the body and the blood of the Most High, of Yahawashi.
You see that? And this is discerning the body. That's why it's so important that we understand what we're doing tonight. Read on.
But let a man examine himself.
Let us examine ourselves before we even take it. Look how we got the opportunity. Examine yourself. Let's look within ourselves. Let's do some introspection. Write that. Come on.
And so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup. For he that eateth and drinketh unworthily eateth and drinketh damnation to himself, not discerning the Lord's body.
Come on.
For this cause many are weak and sickly
Right.
among you, and many sleep. For if we would judge ourselves,
If ye would judge ourselves, let's go back to what the male factor did. One of the things he said, he acknowledged, and he had a fear of the Most High. If you remember the one on the right hand, and he said he acknowledged that he was wrong, but he acknowledged Yahawashi. This man didn't do anything wrong. And he was accepting of his gift. How many of us are ready to be accepting of the things we've done wrong? How many of you are ready to confess your fault and nail it to the stake? Allow that old man to die, to stay up there. Read on.
for if we would judge ourselves, we should not be judged.
So stop right there. So we won't be condemned. Real quick, let's go to the book of Jude, because when he said do this in remembrance of him, there's some things that we need to be put in remembrance. Let's go to the book of Jude and just read verse 1. A lot of people, books like James and Jude, a lot of people stay away from Jude. Jude to get on, especially Jude. But read Jude.
Come, this is the book of Jude, chapter. He said,
Well, it's just Jude 1.
1:1. Jude, the servant of Yahawashi HaMashiach, and brother of James, to them that are sanctified by God the Father, and preserved in Yahawashi HaMashiach, and called, mercy unto you, and peace and love be multiplied. Beloved, when I gave all diligence to write unto you of the common salvation, it was needful for me to write unto you and exhort you that ye should earnestly contend for the faith.
We got to do that, beloved. That's our job. That's what salvation is all about. You got to contend for the faith. Read on.
Which was once delivered unto the saints.
Mm-hmm.
For there are certain men crept in unawares, who were before of old ordained to this condemnation, ungodly men.
There's some men that are going to be on the left side of the crucifixion. Man. It was ordained. Read on.
Turning the grace of our power,
turning the favor, come on,
into lasciviousness,
doing all types of illness, wickedness, whatever they want, lasciviousness, whatever they feel like doing, fulfilling the lust of the flesh. Read on.
And denying the only Yahweh power and our Adawan Yahawashi.
How you repping Yahawashi? You an adulterer. How you repping Yahawashi? You a whore. How you repping Yahawashi? You a whore in Israel. Going from pillar to post. And all this stuff is going on in our nation. And many gonna take it knowing that they behave like this, man. Read on.
Verse 5. I will therefore put you in remembrance.
Put you what?
In remembrance.
Read on.
Though ye once knew this, how that the Adawan, having saved the people out of the land of Egypt.
It's all going back to Passover. He done saved us out of Egypt, and here we are again. Read on.
Afterward,
go ahead.
Afterward, destroyed them that believe not.
This is what you need to be put in remembrance. And the word believe is obeyed not. The Most High is still in the destroying business. We just saw what you heard about the storm. He's still doing that. Famines, fires, pestilence, droughts. Did they fix the water yet over in Flint, Michigan? Still drinking lead. Read on.
Verse 6, and the angels which kept not their first estate,
even the angels, come on,
but left their own habitation, he hath reserved in everlasting chains, under darkness unto the judgment of the great day.
Come on.
Even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them in like manner, giving themselves over to fornication.
Doesn't that sound like Israel today? Still doing it, but we're supposed to be representatives of Hamashiach. We haven't discerned his body. If you're still doing that, read on.
Giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh.
Come on.
Are set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire.
Read on.
Likewise also, these filthy dreamers defile the flesh, despise dominion, and speak evil of dignities.
Come on.
Yet Michael, the archangel, when contending with the devils, he disputed about the body of Moses, durst not bring against him a railing accusation, but said, the Lord rebuked thee.
Come on.
But these speak evil of those things which they knew not, but what they know naturally as brute beasts.
Come on.
In those things they corrupt themselves. Verse 11, woe unto them, for they have gone in the way of Cain, and ran greedily after the error of Balaam.
And we see that, the way we treat our brothers, with the hatred that we have towards one another, the backbiting, the slander, or the gossip. Read on.
For reward and perished in the gainsaying of poor. These are spots in your feast.
Spots in your what?
Feast of charity.
In your feast. We got to remove these. Come on.
When they feast with you, feeding themselves without fear. Clouds.
Feeding themselves without what?
Without fear.
That's how the other male factor was. He didn't have no fear. Read on.
Clouds they are without water, carried about of winds, trees whose fruit were without fruit, twice dead, plucked up by the roots.
Come on. That is, come on.
Raging waves of the sea, foaming out their own shame.
Then they say, you shall know them by their fruit.
Come.
Read on.
Wandering stars, to whom is reserved the blackness of darkness forever. And Enoch also, the seventh from Adam, prophesied of these, saying, behold, the Lord cometh with 10,000s of his saints.
Because this is a celebration of his return. How many of you who are on the left side of the cross can really celebrate? Because this is the judgment that's coming. If you're not discerning his body, this is the judgment. Read on.
To execute judgment unto all, and to convince all that are ungodly among them of all their ungodly deeds.
This ain't nothing to play with. This definitely ain't nothing to play with. Read on. You better all celebrate Christmas. Go ahead. Yeah.
Which they have ungodly committed, and of all their hard speeches, which ungodly sinners have spoken against him, these are murmurers, complainers, walking after their own lust.
Isn't that the same thing we did in the wilderness? Murmured and complained. What you got to complain about? We in Hamashiach YAHAWAH'S. What are you murmuring about? Why you got the twisty face all the time? Read.
And their mouth speaketh great swelling words, having men's persons.
This is why. Come on.
Having men's persons in admiration.
You care more about men. We got a generation of people that's following men, not YAHAWAH'S.
Men pleasers.
That's the problem. Men pleasers. Read on.
Because of advantage. But, beloved, remember ye the words which ye have spoken.
Come on.
Before of the apostles of our YAHAWAH'S, how that they told you there should be mockers in the last time.
We see that. Come on.
Who should walk after their own ungodly.
Let's make sure that we're not those people. Read on.
These be they who separate themselves sensual, having not the spirit.
Come on.
But ye, beloved, building up yourselves on your most holy faith, praising in the Holy Spirit. Keep yourselves in the love of God.
Keep yourselves by obedience. He loves those that do what? Keep the commandments, right? It's very simple. Come on.
Looking for the mercy of our Adawan.
Looking for mercy. Sowing mercy. We just received the answer. How do you sow mercy? By keeping the commandments. You'll receive mercy. Read on.
YAHAWAH'S Hamashiach unto eternal life. And of some having compassion, making a difference.
Read on.
And others say with fear, pulling them out of the fire, hating even the garment spotted by the flesh.
Hating the garment. Because when we come here, yeah, we like we wear the nice robes and things like that. I wear black because it's a memorial unto me. But your garment is representative of your character. What he said, the garment, which is physical analogies, the garment to convey spiritual truth, that you be without a stained garment, right? What did you just read? Read that part again.
Come. It says, and others say with fear, pulling them out of the fire, hating even the garment spotted.
Hated the garment spotted. We got people that are people, I gotta say it, when it comes to sneakers, they don't want you to step, they don't want a spot on their shoe. But their character is garbage. Their confession and their conduct don't line up. But they don't want nothing. Don't you better not put no mark on my shoe. Get a baby fight. Get it off. They'll fight you for it. They'll kill you to step on somebody's shoe. Free. But your spiritual garment is filthy. You worry about getting in the club with the right attire. But how about the king? Read on.
I got a precept.
Bring it up.
This is Job 29:14. I put on righteousness, and it clothed me. My judgment was as a robe and a diadem.
So you see that? Righteousness. That's what we want to be clothed with. Righteousness. Right? Where we at?
One more. All right. This is Ecclesiastes 9:8. It says, let thy garments be always white.
Come on. Which is purity. Come on.
And let thy head lack no point.
So this is an anointing. We know that anointment or anointed is something that sends you forth, where you're prepared, you're anointed to do something. And that's why we must discern his body. Where you at?
23, Jude 1:23. And others say with fear, pulling them out of the fire, hating even the garment spotted by the flesh.
Read on.
Now unto him that is able to keep you from falling.
This is a YAHAWAH'S. Come on.
And to present you faultless before the presence of his glory with exceeding joy, to the only wise, God, our Savior, be glory and majesty, dominion and power, both now and ever. Amen.
Amen. So that's what we need to remember. Real quick, give me Wisdom of Solomon 12:1-2. Wisdom of Solomon 12:1-2. I think we're going to be ready to discern his body, just the meal in about 15 minutes? 10 minutes, all right. We prepared ourselves to discern. Hopefully it's a little different than just getting ready to eat. Read.
This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12, verse 1. For thine incorruptible spirit is in all things. Therefore, chastenest thou them by little and little that offend, and warnest them by putting them in remembrance, wherein they have offended.
So let's remember tonight, where have you offended the Most High? You want to be in remembrance, and then you want to nail that to the cross. You want to crucify that. Because we remember Yahawa's getting ready to be crucified after this meeting. So there's some things that we need to crucify, and that's why with unleavened bread, you can do that in all unleavened bread. It was after the Passover that he was killed. What are you going to remove? It's not just the bread. What are some of the leaven in your life that needs to be crucified? Come on.
Therefore, chastenest thou them by little and little that offend, and warnest them by putting them in remembrance.
By doing what?
Putting them in remembrance.
Come on.
Wherein they have offended, that leaving their wickedness, they may believe on thee, O Lord.
So that's what we want. Because the leaven keeps you from following the Most High. The leaven obstructs you. What does it say? A little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. It contaminates the whole lump and doesn't allow you to see clearly. Give me 1 Corinthians 5:8. So this is how we're keeping the feast. Everybody all right?
All
right.
You want to start at
7?
1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 7. Purge out therefore the old leaven.
Get rid of that old leaven. That's representative of the old man. But I want us more as purge. I want us to understand because Yahawa's was purged for our transgression. Let You need to be on that right side with him, and you crucify that party, that old man. Come on.
That ye may be a new lump.
A new lump. Come on.
As ye are unleavened. For even Hamashiach, our Passover.
So even Hamashiach, you see the analogy? And now we see it in its fullness, where it wasn't just him being represented at the crucifixion. We were on one side and the other, and we were accused all of Israel. Go ahead.
For even Hamashiach, our Passover is sacrificed for us.
For us. Come on.
Therefore, let us keep the feast, not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness.
Let's meditate on that. Come on.
But with the unleavened bread of sincerity.
We got to be sincere about this, beloved. The days of faking the funk, that's how you can tell I'm old. I don't know if I say funk no more. But faking the funk is over with. Read.
But with the unleavened bread of sincerity
and truth. Read on.
I wrote unto you an epistle not to company with fornicators, yet not altogether with the fornicators of this world, or with the covetous or extortioners, or with idolaters.
Those were all the ones saying crucified. All the people he described right there were the ones that were saying crucified. All the ones with that character didn't acknowledge Hamashiach Yahweh. What does it say when the blind lead the blind? They both end up.
Those are the same ones that are fighting us on the streets.
There you go. Come on.
For then must ye needs go out of the world. But now I have written unto you not to keep company. If any man that is called a brother be a fornicator,
come on,
or covetous, or an idolater, or a railer, or a drunkard, or an extortioner, with such in one know not to eat.
But we wanted violence. That's what we want to hang. Read on.
For what have I to do to judge them also that are without? Do not ye judge them that are within? But them that are without God judgeth. Therefore put away from among yourselves that wicked person.
So you see that? And guess what? That a lot of times when we read that, we do think of somebody else. But what if the wicked person is you? You got to put away that person. You got to put that. It starts with you first. You got to remember, you got to remove beans before you can remove motes. Crucify your flesh tonight. We'll discern his body correctly, and then we'll be worthy of the Lamb, worthy to take it. Bring it up.
Going into crucifying yourself. This is Galatians chapter 2, verse 18.
I got it here. Go ahead.
For if I build again the things which I destroyed, I make myself a transgressor.
That's right.
That's okay.
Hebrews 9, and I'm going to read just for time's sake 11. I wanted to read this. Hebrews 9:11. But Hamashiach being come and high priest of good things to come, by a greater and more perfect tabernacle not made with hands, that is to say, not of this building, neither by the blood of goats and calves, because this is not a sacrifice of animals. This is a memorial. But by his own blood, he entered in once into the holy place, having obtained eternal redemption for us. For if the blood of bulls and of goats and the ashes of an heifer sprinkling the unclean sanctified to the purifying of the flesh, how much more shall the blood of Hamashiach, who through the eternal Spirit offered himself without spot to the Most High, purge your conscience from dead works to serve the living power. That's what we should be doing. If you're appropriating this and discerning his body correctly, purge your conscience from dead works. You from breaking the law. You from allowing your flesh to rule over you. To serve the living power. This should make us greater servants. This should make us better. We should get stronger from this. 15. And for this cause, he is the mediator of the New Testament, that by means of death for the redemption of the transgressions that were under the first testament, they which are called might receive the promise of eternal inheritance. That's what we have to gain, beloved. And we read for where a testament is must also be a necessity. But I think that's very, very important. Romans 6:1. Get that real quick. Romans 6:1. And then I'm going to have God a speaker assistant that prepared him. And then we'll get ready to end there.
Come. This is the book of Romans chapter 6, verse 1. What shall we say then? Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound?
And that's not taking this worthily. That's not discerning his body. How you gonna eat the Passover and then be like, hey, it's I'm gonna still continue to do what I want. I'm still gonna continue to break laws. Read on.
Come, God forbid. How shall we that are dead to sin?
You see the word here? Dead to sin. So this is the type of crucifixion for us. We should be what he did. We should die to sin. That part of us should be dead to breaking the law. Come on.
Come, God forbid. How shall we that are dead to sin live any longer therein?
How you gonna live after this any longer like that? Like a dead man. How you living like a dead man and woman, a stinking corpse, walking around here? You watch the zombie movies, you be like, no, that's you. You the walking dead. Read.
Come, know ye not that so many of us, as were baptized into Hamashiach YAHAWAH'S, were baptized into his death.
Unto his what?
Unto his death.
Unto his what?
Unto his death.
That's discerning his body. You were immersed. Baptism, a more appropriate word is immersion. You were immersed into his death. That's why we were there. Read.
Come, therefore we are buried with him.
We are what?
We are buried with him.
So many times we look at him like an inanimate. Yeah, he did. He paid it off. He did that. No, you got something to do. You buried. Now that he did it, you did it with him. If you acknowledged him, think about it. Who your leader is, if they catch you, they're going to do the same thing to him. What did YAHAWAH'S say? If they hated me, they're going to do what? That's if you want to hear. That's only if you want to hear. They crucified me, they're going to do what? Crucify you. They're going to deliver some of y'all up to be scourged. A lot of us don't want that. We ain't ready for that. You ain't about that life. You ain't about the life of YAHAWAH'S. Stop playing. Read.
Therefore, we are buried with him by baptism into death.
Into what?
Into death.
Into death. Read.
That like as Mashiach was raised up from the dead by the glory of the Father.
Come on.
Even so, we also should walk in the newness of life.
We should walk in the newness of life. Dead to sin, dead to that old man. Read on.
For if we have been planted together in the likeness of his death.
Now, everybody talk about Christ-like or like Hamashiach. Well, what was he like? How are you Hamashiach like? What was he like? Well, first prerequisite, he was from the tribe of Judah. He was an Israelite. Genetically, through his bloodline, we got the blood of Hamashiach. Okay, check. But what else was he like? He was a servant. Are you like that? He's perfect. And then he say, and there's no excuses. Be ye perfect as I am perfect. It's a simple game. I think we all played it one time. Follow the leader. It's real simple. But sometimes it escapes us because we haven't discerned his body. All right, beloved? But we're going to do it tonight. All praises. Hallelujah. Read on.
It says, verse 5, for if we have been planted together in the likeness of death, we shall also be in the likeness of his resurrection.
Come on. Don't y'all want to go? All right, go ahead. Read on.
Knowing this, that our old man.
That our what?
Our old man.
Read.
Is crucified.
Is what?
Is crucified.
Is crucified. Boy, that gets me excited. Is crucified. Who afraid to die, baby? I ain't afraid to die. Y'all afraid to die? No, man, that's what we came to do if you were repping the Mashiach YAHAWAH'S. You see it on the movies. They ready to die. They make death look so easy. Man, we should be the most fearless people. as the nation of Israel, because we're supposed to already be dead. We're supposed to already be dead to this place. Read.
Knowing this, that our old man is crucified with him, that the body of sin.
That the what?
That the body of sin.
The body of sin. That's what should be up there. That's what the death of that body, because that's just flesh. That the body of sin, of breaking the laws, read,
might be destroyed.
Might be destroyed. And you see why might, because you got some that's on the right, but you got some on the left. Read on.
That henceforth we should not serve sin.
Shouldn't serve it anymore. Read.
For he that is dead is freed from sin.
Man, think about, I'm serious, beloved. See the things that are causing you, making you bound, and those transgressions, nail them to the cross. See it as dead flesh on the cross. Crucify, kill it tonight. Leave it on the cross. Read on.
Now, if we be dead with Hamashiach,
because this time is getting shorter and shorter. He's soon to return. Read.
We believe that we shall also live with him.
If you be crucified, that's the only way you're going to live with him. Read.
It says, knowing that Hamashiach being raised from the dead, dieth no more.
He's not going to die again, beloved. He ain't doing it again. He already did it. Read on.
It says, death hath no more dominion over him. For in that he died unto sin once.
He died unto sin once. That's our example. Come on.
But in that he liveth unto God.
That's how we should live. Read on.
Likewise, reckon ye also yourselves.
I'm not saying this. This is what the scripture's saying. Read.
To be dead indeed unto sin.
To be dead unto sin. Breaking the laws. Come on. We're supposed to do all things, right? And Hamashiach YAHAWAH'S strengthens us. But we can't die to sin. Well, maybe he ain't in you. Or you in him. Read.
Verse 10. For in that he died unto sin once. But in that he liveth unto God.
Come on.
Likewise, reckon ye also yourselves to be dead indeed unto sin, but alive unto God through Yahawashi Hamashiach.
Through who?
Through Hamashiach Yahawashi.
It ain't your own doing. It's in him. Greater is he who's in me than he who's in the world. Read.
Let not sin, therefore, reign in your mortal
body. That's your job. That's not Hamashiach YAHAWAH'S job. Don't get it twisted. He said, what? Read that part again.
It says, for in that he died in the sin slacket. Let not sin, therefore, reign in your mortal body.
Don't you allow it. Kill it dead. Don't you allow it to reign. Don't allow lust to reign. Don't allow lust to reign in your body. That's why we should be fasting. We got to crucify the flesh daily. This ain't just something for now. We got to be thinking about this all the time. This flesh want to exalt itself. No, get back in the cage. Get back in the ground. Got to kill it. Read.
It says, let not sin, therefore, reign in your mortal body, that ye shall obey it in the lust thereof. You
can't serve your flesh anymore. Don't allow your flesh to tell you what to do anymore. That's a simp right there. If you follow the Hamashiach and your flesh telling you what to do, it's taking you wherever you want to go. You doing whatever it tells you to go. You do whatever your flesh tells you to do. You're supposed to be ruling your flesh, your spirit. We know that the flesh is weak. But it's supposed to be, that part of you supposed to die. That's a member that need to be cut off. Read.
Neither yield ye your members.
I can't make this up. Come on.
Neither yield ye your members as instruments of unrighteousness unto sin, but yield yourselves unto God as those that are alive.
Wait. What is yield? Because see, Hamashiach yielded himself was he yielding himself to man? Or to the Most High on the cross? It's to the Most High. Put that sinful nature right on up there. Go ahead.
Neither yield ye your members as instruments of unrighteousness unto sin.
Come on.
But yield yourselves unto God as those that are alive from the dead, and your members as instruments of righteousness.
Of what?
Of righteousness.
Hallelujah. Come on.
Unto God. Verse 14. For sin shall not have dominion over you.
This is the evidence of discerning it correctly. It ain't gonna have dominion. It ain't no. You're not gonna be guessing. You're gonna know if you discerned his body. You're gonna know if he's in you. It ain't no wondering. Here's the evidence. You shall know them by their fruit. Read.
For sin shall not have dominion.
Sin ain't gonna have dominion over you. Read.
For you are not under the law, but under grace.
You're not subject to the law anymore because you ain't breaking it. Read.
What then? Shall we sin because we are not under the law?
Because you're not subject to it, where you won't be punished by it? What does it say?
But under grace? God forbid.
No, you still got to keep the law. Read.
Know ye not that to whom ye yield yourselves servants to obey, his servants ye are to whom ye obey, whether of sin unto death, or of obedience unto righteousness.
That's it right there. We can stop right there. And that's beautiful. That's discerning Hamashiach's body. I'm going to get this lastly because this is very important. Matthew 26, and I'm going to read. I just want to read. I really want to read this. Matthew 26, I'm going to start at 1. And it came to pass when Hamashiach had finished all these sayings, he said unto his disciples, ye know that after 2 days is the feast of the Passover, and the Son of Man is betrayed to be crucified. Then assembled together the chief priests and the scribes and the elders of the people unto the place of the high priest, who was called Caiaphas, and consulted that they may take Yahushua by subtlety and kill him. But they said, not on the feast day, lest there be an uproar among the people. Now when Yahushua was in Bethany in the house of Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman. You sisters that hear this, a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, and poured it on his head as he sat at meat. So she had this ointment and she poured it on his head. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation. They were upset, saying, to what purpose is this waste? Why are you pouring oil on this man's head? For this ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor. When Yahushua understood it, he said unto them, why trouble ye the woman? For she hath wrought a good work upon me. For ye have the poor always with you, but me ye have not always. And we really need to understand that. The disciples understood that Yahushua was getting ready to leave. He was getting ready to be crucified. And we too need to, have respect of what he did and how important it is. Now watch what she did. It says, for in that she had poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. So she had the mindset to prepare him for his burial. She understood the importance of what he was about to do. And we too need to live like that. We need to understand the importance of this ceremony, of this memorial. Verily I say unto you, it was so powerful what this woman did that she was concerned about preparing him, because what she was really doing is acknowledging Hamashiach and therefore acknowledging herself. She knew that this was the deliverer, and I'm gonna take everything that I got. It was worth a lot of money. How many of us are tied more to money than the purpose of Hamashiach Yahushua, to doing the will of the Heavenly Father? What does it say about the root of money, the love of money? It's the root, man. Even the disciples were thrown off. They're like, it's a lot of money right here. But what did he say? What are you willing to give up for the eternity? Or what are you not willing to let go of? For in that she had poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my birth. We're supposed to be ready to give up everything. Let's start with our sin. Let's start with the transgression. Let's start with that old man tonight. Come. 13, verily I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also that this woman have done be told for a memorial of her. You see how those are YAHAWAH'S. So when we give up everything, the memorial that we're celebrating tonight is also going to be our memorial as well. Because it's appointed once for man to die. What's going to be considered at your memorial? What's going to be said about you? Well, as we discern, as we partake of the Lamb, let us meditate on that and the words that we've heard and discern his body. And with that, I say shalom. The food's getting ready to come out. All praises to the Most High. Abanawa. Ashar Pasach, YAHAWAH'S, the infinite, inexplicable. I'm just going to start off by saying, Yahweh, Ashar Pasach, YAHAWAH'S, Barak Ma'akal, Yahweh, Shatat, the water, Aman. So as we partake, let's discern his body tonight. Hallelujah. Kwam Yashar. Yeah, this is an exciting time. I know for me, when the Most High revealed that to me, I said, man, this is a serious